Today we're going to be talking about new driver advice. This is our learning target for success. This is me. Testing is in session. And I want to welcome you in. Let's go ahead and get it. New drivers, beginning drivers, there's a lot to unwrap. And let's go ahead and talk about this. New drivers do a lot of light traffic light driving. You're staying in the neighborhoods. You're making right turns. You're making left turns. You're pulling in driveways. You're learning how to work on your maneuverability skills. What do I mean by maneuverability? You're learning how to turn that wheel hand over hand in and hand over hand out. Speaking of hand over hand, the National Highway Safety Transportation recommends hand over hand for parking and making right turns. So you really want to focus on those skill sets. Next, watch others while they drive. You should be looking at all of my videos. You should be watching your dad drive. You should be watching your mom drive. You should be watching anyone and everyone in your immediate family and playing sim games and driving games so you learn how to feel comfortable in the car. Every single car is different. The gas pedal is different. The brake is different. The tires are different. So you want to get a good feel for the car so you can be successful. Next, continue to study yield. And what does yield mean? If I go down the street and I have a yield sign and a car comes and they don't have a sign, I must slow down and almost stop. If it's a fully controlled intersection, there's a sign at every single corner, all of us stop. The car on the left yields to the car on the right. A lot of drivers forget that, and this causes confusion and anxiety. As a beginner driver, an advanced driver, you're going to have a lot of anxiety. You're going to feel very nervous. Your hands are going to be sweating. You're going to have heart palpitations. It's normal. So relax. Also, I want to tell you about intersections. Intersections are very dangerous places, particularly for beginners who are trying to make left turns. Why? Beginning drivers, new drivers have a difficult time judging distance. Distance is really important when you learn how to drive because you might pull out in front of a car. You're going to scare your parent. Never scare your parent or caregiver or guardian. Why? They're not going to want to drive with you anymore. Then you're not going to have enough hours to get into segment 2. What is our learning target for success? Advice for new drivers. How are you? I'm a state certified driving instructor. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you in. Let's continue talking about advice for new drivers. Next, look when turning. If you're making a left, I should see you looking to the left. If you're making a right, I should see you looking to the right. It's really important you look where you're going. A lot of beginning drivers don't look where they're going. And if you don't look where you're going, you're going to end up hitting something. Next, when you are backing up, I need you to look out of the back window. Don't trust a backup camera. They're not always an accurate representation. And if you live in a community, you will have kids who leave toys out, who walk behind the car, and they're 2 feet tall. They're 3 feet tall. You won't be able to see them. So what I need you to do when you first get out to the car, do a walk around, okay? Go around the car. Are there toys? Are there animals? Is there a little kid hiding behind the car? Why? Little kids love to play hide and go seek. So if you've checked around your vehicle, you looked, you've checked, you get in, you put on your seat belt, okay? You adjust your seat, you adjust your inside mirror, your outside mirror, you're looking straight ahead, you bring the mirror into the side, you adjust your passenger mirror. Those things are really important. So when you're driving, you can see to the left, I'm looking to the left, you can see to the right, and you can see everything around you because vision is really important. Let's talk about blind spots. There are 4 blind spots: left side, right side, front, and back. You always have to look and be aware. Let's continue on new driver advice. What I need you to do is remember the big 5. I'm going to talk about the big 5 right now. Next, I need you to concentrate. You can put the phone down, really focus on driving because it does take all of your mental resources to learn how to drive. You need to look and check your blind spot. When you're making a lane change to the left, look over your left shoulder. When you're making a lane change to the right, look over your right shoulder. Next, backing up. Always look. You have your backup camera to assist, but also you got to look out your back window because these are your best backup cameras. Our learning targets for success. New driver advice. I'm a state certified driving instructor. Testing in progress. And I want to welcome you in. If you have questions, you put it in. Next, you need to have good following distance. What is good following distance? How do you know how far you're away? If you're going 30, it's 3 car lengths. 40, 4 car lengths. It's a car length for every 10 miles an hour. I say have good speed, have good space, and have a smile. It's so important that you relax because driving can be very stressful. Let's continue. I need you to have good following distance. Drive at a safe speed for the conditions. If it's crowded in a downtown Detroit, Michigan, a downtown Los Angeles, California, a downtown Houston, Texas, reduce your speed. Pedestrians will walk between cars. In parking lots, what is a very dangerous, you're welcome. In parking lots, pedestrians walk between cars. They will get hit. People back out. Yesterday, I have to tell you this, we were driving in a subdivision. A car almost backed into my client and I. If I didn't turn the wheel to the left, we would have gotten hit. Someone was backing up. They weren't looking. Literally about this far. We would have got hit in the door. That shook up my client. They were very nervous. I told them to relax. And that can kind of freak you out. So that was definitely a little bit scary. True story. Next, what I need you to do is have a lot of room when you pull out in traffic. A lot of beginning drivers don't judge distance very well. Okay? And as a result, you're going to pull out in front of a car. Listen to me. If you don't judge distance well, you're going to pull out in front of a car. If a car has to change a lane, when you pull out in front of a car. And if you do that on your road test, that is automatic failure because that is a dangerous maneuver. If you hit a curb, strike a car, automatic failure. Let's continue. Don't scare your parents. That situation where a car almost backed into us and hit us and we had less than 12 inches, that shook us all up. And then my client was making a left turn. They almost went in the wrong lane. So we had to calm down, relax. I have to be patient. As an instructor, you have to be patient. If your mom and dad are screaming at you, yelling at you, you won't do well. I need you to relax. Good coaches are patient. There is no awkward silence. They treat you like an adult. They make conversation with you. They're considerate. After about 5 to 7 minutes after the client almost went in the wrong lane, making a left turn and almost getting hit, none of which were our fault. After about 5 minutes, they calmed down. They were driving about 10 under the limit. So if you have these unfortunate incidents of almost getting hit, you're going to drive very differently. You're going to drive very nervous. You're going to drive under speed. And whatever my client needed to do, I would have done. If they needed to pull over to the side and take a few minutes to compose themselves. If we need to get out to the car. So I need you to remember this story because out-of-pocket things will happen. Good instructors are considerate. If you take the time to look at my video, I am considerate. I explain to you what you're going to be doing in the car. I explain to you what's going to happen on the red test. I explain to you what your driving instructor should be doing. And this should bring you quality. This should help you understand, okay, when I'm in the car, we should be making some right turns. We should be making left turns. My instructor should be showing me how to turn the wheel, whether it's hand over hand or hand to hand or let the wheel spin. As long as you're getting instruction, you should feel at the end of your drive, I learned something new today. I learned how to be a defensive driver and not get backed into and not turn in the wrong lane. This could happen to any of us. And on top of this, we were driving at night, and that adds a whole new level of anxiety. So good instructors have those qualities. Let's continue talking about what is our learning targets for success. New advice for drivers. Okay, advice for new drivers. I'm your instructor. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you in. We're talking about new driver advice. Look where you're going. My client looked to the left and they were on the wrong side of the double yellow. In America, we drive on the right. So my client overturned the wheel. I had to turn the wheel back. Next, leave a lot of room. When you see a student driver or a learner, give us space, give us room. If cars are tailgating you, they're going to set us up for an unfortunate situation, and usually it's them. Don't scare your parents. If you're going to scare your parent, they're not going to want to drive with you anymore. How do you scare your parent? You run lights, you hit the curb, you pull out in front of a truck. They're going to be so traumatized, they're not going to want to drive you anymore. Now you're emailing me saying, I don't have my hours. So my advice, really practice your craft before you get out there. Tips for parking. You need to drive in a neighborhood that's comfortable. You need to learn to pull up to the curb behind a car, 12 inches or less. I do measure. You need to learn to parallel park. Pull up next to a car, line up to the car, reverse at a 45 angle, go in all the way to the right, turn your wheel back to the left. You need to be 12 inches or less away from the curb. If you're not, you need to repeat. I do have some videos on road test prep where we're actually on a road test course. I had a client message me. They failed their road test the first time. We practiced for about 24 hours. How do you deal with anxiety, having PTSD? Here's what I need you to do, because I have training in this. It's called gradual exposure. What I need you to do is first subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be setting up, it could be in the next 36 hours. We're going to be setting up channel memberships where you're going to become a member. You'll be able to reach out to me one-on-one. We're going to have a small group, 3 to 5 people. Then we'll meet, we'll do a Zoom call, and we'll talk about some tactics and things you can do to reduce your anxiety. I don't want you to drive during rush hour. This time of day is pretty good. It is approximately right now 12:46 Eastern Standard Time, lunchtime. You can drive relaxed. No one's going to be making you go super fast. You want to take your time, and you have to be comfortable. If you feel any type of anxiety, you need to get over and pull off to the side of the road. Anxiety could be in a downtown area. Anxiety could be going around the block and a car almost backs into you. Anxiety could be a little kid came out. There are many triggers for anxiety. But what I need you to do when you feel that panic attack or the anxiety coming on, take a deep breath. Calm down. Listen to some relaxing music. Have your trusted friend with you to support you. And I always say that because if you're driving by yourself and you have panics, you won't do well. And we've all been there. In the rain sometime when I'm driving, I have panic attacks because you think you're going to lose control, and I'm driving at the speed limit or under. I've been in trauma too. I went to Alabama Motorsport Park. I drag race. I have a 68 Gen 1 Camaro from Texas, small tire car. I wasn't used to the car. We did the burnout, we heated up the tires, I had my 5-point seat belt, helmet, fire suit. I'm a firm believer in safety. And when you're out drag racing, you sign a waiver. If you crash, you can't hold the drag strip liable because motorsports are very dangerous, i.e., this is why I wear my helmet, my fire suit, my gloves. You have to have all the safety equipment. So I launched the car veered to the left immediately. Oh my God, I thought I was going to hit the wall. Somehow I squeezed the brake, I turned the wheel hard to the right, and I didn't hit the wall. That scared me. If you're in the car with me right now, I got goosebumps. I don't know if you can see it, but I have goosebumps because I almost hit the wall. So I had to take a step back and think about my actions. And you will always remember those situations. So I'm telling you this so you understand and realize what you need to do as a driver is not panic. And we don't want you to panic, because if you panic, then you're more likely to crash, overturn, underturn. So that's the experience that I can share with you because I've been through it and I understand those emotions and what you go through and what you do and how you react, because a lot of things will trigger those emotions and will trigger you to overturn or slam the brake. And once you lose control, you're going to hit the wall. You're going to roll your car. So I'm just trying to really get you to know that I've been through what you've been through. And when I'm on this platform, I'm not going to pretend I know everything. I don't. And part of my job, I drive people all the time that potentially could crash, right? And yeah, I'm not sweating anymore. I'm in that AC and I'm doing better today. Thank you. Right? So you really have to be honest with yourself. And if you're not honest with yourself, you're going to lie to yourself. So I always tell my clients, this is really important. And then I talk to the guardians afterwards. So I'm sharing a real story with you. And that made me a better driver. Is if I feel the car getting out of control, I'm lifting my foot. I'm going to relax because you'll end up crashing. Let's continue talking. Don't scare your parents. Don't scare yourself. If you have that trauma, it's going to be harder for you to get comfortable and get back into the driving seat. Same thing with me and my near crash at Alabama Motorsport Park. And my car goes about 152 miles an hour. That's 0 to 152, not top speed. Okay. Next, beginning drivers need a lot of verbal instruction. What is our learning target for success? Young driver advice, beginning driver advice. I'm a state certified driving instructor, testing in progress. I want to welcome you in. We're sharing real stories where I shared a story of launching my Gen 1 Camaro, small tire car, about 890 horsepower, runs low 9s, high 8s, and I almost crashed in Alabama at Alabama Motorsport Park. And that really made me feel very nervous and have a lot of anxiety. Let's continue. So you need verbal instruction. You need people to support you. And by you talking to me now, I'm going to support you. I shared my story. You're like, oh, this guy's real. And I am real because I want you to know I go through the same feelings and emotions you do, because I drive people every day who do not know how to drive. And they're terrified because the first 1 or 2 lessons, they're very nervous. They're all over the road. So I need to guide them. I need to help them. I need to tell them what they need to do in a calm fashion, take my time. And if I see the car getting out of control, I have a brake. Your parents do not. I have a second mirror. Your parents do not. That's why it's so important. If you're nervous and your mom and dad is nervous, it's not a good recipe for success. You're more likely to panic and you won't even get out of the driveway. So I've shared some stories that relate to the concept. Good instructors do that. A lot of you know personal things about me now, right? I got a Gen 1 Camaro. Okay, it's from Texas. And then I will be getting the car out next summer. I can't do it this summer for financial reasons. And then I'll be making some content on learning how to drive a specialty vehicle. You have to have a competition driver's license. You have to make a certain number of passes in a certain time. Then on the last drive, you need to pull the parachute. So the car should go about 157, 155, 160, and that's still real speed. And if you lose control of that car, you're going to hit the wall and you're going to roll your car over. So I don't want to do that. And I don't want to smash this beautiful classic car. So I can't get overexcited or try to be overwhelmed or say I'm going to qualify number one, because it's dangerous. Good instructors use hands to show you where to look. I need you to make a right. I need you to make a left. Your instructor should be your confidence, your source of trust. You should feel comfortable with them. They should feel comfortable with you, because I'm giving you an inside look at what driving instructors think. We don't want to crash. We want to teach you. We want you to do a good job. And that takes good preparation. Your instructor's got to teach you, tell you what to do. Let's talk about some other information about driver's education to really help you understand the importance of it. Okay? And our learning targets. New driver advice. I'm a state certified driving instructor. I teach in the Midwest. Testing in progress. I want to welcome you in. Let's talk about driver's education. Facts about driver's education. Driver's education is a formal program or course designed to teach individuals how to operate a motor vehicle safely and responsibly. Just like if I have to get my competition drag racing license, I have to perform a certain number of quarter-mile passes, eighth-mile passes, full passes, and I have to have control of the car. If I don't, I won't get my competition license. It has since expired. So I have to go through the whole process, which is very stressful. You're very nervous. You have a high-powered car. The track is very sticky, and literally, you could lose control of your car and veer to the left, veer to the right. And on the other hand, the adrenaline, smelling of that race gas, heating up the tires, getting your car staged, revving the motor with a trans brake button, holding it up to about 3,400, and you launch it. The wheels pick up about 2 feet, it sets down, and then you're off. So you really have to look ahead. Number two, driver's education typically includes classroom instruction and behind the wheel. I'm behind the wheel right now in the driver's ed car. You see me in class. I give you value. I give you GoPro view, dash cam view, full view, inside view, rear view. So I'm trying to give you a really good perspective to help you feel comfortable. If you have questions, put it in. The goal of driver's education is to prepare new drivers for the challenges of road and help them reduce the number of accidents and traffic fatalities. The fatalities when someone dies. And unfortunately, that 14 to 24-year age group, many of you are in that age group, you have the most accidents. And myself as an instructor, based on AAA, we want to reduce the number of fatalities. If you're tired, you should not be driving. Next, driver's education courses cover topics such as traffic laws, defensive driving techniques, the dangers of distracted driving or impaired driving. We owe that to Mothers Against Drunk Driving, called MAD. We have lost so many people due to drunk drivers on the road. As an instructor, as a transportation specialist, I want to advocate to you, don't drink and drive. Don't drive distracted. And don't drive tired. If you're tired, you should not be driving. Next, many high schools offer driver's education courses as part of their curriculum, and students may be required to complete these courses in order to attain a driver's license. If you're over 18, you have timed out of the traditional driver's education program. Don't be sad. You can go to the Secretary of State and get something called a TIA, A TIP is a temporary instruction permit. You can drive with someone over 21. You can practice your maneuverability, your parallel parking, angle parking, stall parking. All tests have some type of parking maneuvers. It may be different in Afghanistan. It may be different in Australia. It may be different in the United States. You need to be looking on your country's website to find out what driver's education fundamentals and requirements are there. I can help you. You just need to tell me what country, a state you are from. Next, in addition to high school programs, there are private driving schools and online driver's education courses available. I do online driver's education. Driver's education instructors are typically licensed. I am licensed. I have a license from the state. Every 2 years, I need to recertify. I take new classes. I go through a physical, a background check. It's very extensive. Then I'm good for 2 years. And instructors do post their driver's education endorsements proudly to let clients know I'm a certified instructor. Next, driver's education courses offered for experienced drivers such as defensive driving or skid control. Driver's education requirements vary by state, country, with different jurisdictions having their own regulations and standards. I talked about this. What they do in the UK is different than what they do in the United States. What they do in Australia is different than the UK. What Australia and the UK is different than they do in the United States. I'm taking my road test in 2 weeks. Should I be worried about anything? Review your parking fundamentals. Look at my videos on road test prep. I'll be going over a few elements later this evening, probably 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. I will actually be going over the road test fundamentals. So this is when you want to tune in, and what you need to do is subscribe to the channel. Then once we activate, I'm going to start channel memberships, and then we'll have exclusive one-on-one content for channel members only, where I will talk about in-car prep for road tests, merging, parking, left turn. School zones are a suggestion that straight from school zones are very tricky. School zones are radar and security camera monitored. Usually it's 15 miles an hour. School is almost out here in the United States. Some schools are done next week. Some schools are already out. Driver's education is popping up. Kids have sports. They have everything else. So what I need you to do is, thank you, I really appreciate that. I'm trying to bring awareness to safe driving, and I'm really trying to help you, okay? Going 60 in the school zone will get you arrested, so don't even play. But school zones, kids think cars are robots. And if you drive through a neighborhood, you're going to see cars going slower. Everyone has Ring doorbells. They have security cameras. No one is private anymore. So if you're out of pocket going too fast, you will get caught, and they will call the police, and they will post your video on social media. So those days of just terrorizing neighborhoods are done. Next, research has shown that completing a driver's education course can lead to safe driving. I'm trying to advocate safe driving, and this is bringing you value. Give it a thumbs up. Support what your instructor is saying, and I'm really trying to help all of you be successful. I'm going to talk more on the road test tonight specifically. I'll be giving you road test specific examples. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, look at all the videos, post more questions. I will talk to you later. Bye.